Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Hearthstone deck spotlight. My name is Tommy Wave, and today we'll be taking a look at another deck from ElementalCore100. We've covered several of their decks in the past, and this time they bring to us actually a pretty sweet budget Shaman deck. We're right in the thick of our own budget deck series, so I thought that this would be some great research to check out what other people are doing within the budget space with the Shaman hero class. What Elemental Core has here, they call it like a budget elemental shaman, which is pretty accurate. It's got some elemental themes here, but it also has a lot of the token themes that we typically see from a lot of those token decks that are trying to, go wide and play cards like Fungalmancer, cards like Bloodlust to try and get a lot of stats out of a lot of minions and then kill you that way. Unfortunately, I guess these style of Shaman decks have kind of fallen out of favor in a way. They've kind of been replaced by a lot of the even Shaman decks and a lot of the Shuttlewalk Shaman decks. If you're playing Shaman, a lot of people aren't looking into this archetype, but we'll kind of go through things. We've got a nice start here with Diamol and Firefly. As our kind of premium 1-drops. Firefly, especially in this deck, is going to be one of the main 1-drops. One of the most powerful ones that we can get, mostly because we are playing 2 copies of Earthen Might. Earthen Might being a great play on turn 2 onto the Firefly. We get a 3/4 out of it, which is usually going to control the board for quite a number of turns, unless our opponent has some very specific answers. It's also going to give us a little bit of extra gas, so we can try and grind our opponent out by adding an elemental to our hand. We've also got the lightning bolts in here. This is going to be a great answer for against decks like, say, Odd Paladin, if they've got like a War Leader hiding behind a Taunt or something like that. Lightning Bolt's going to be a great way for us to clear out those high-value threats. And we've also got to kind of give us multiple lanes of attack. We've also got Lightning Storm, which is not... I wouldn't say it's commonly played in these style of decks, but it's not rarely played. I think seeing these kind of decks that need to compete on board in that mid game, Lightning Storm I think is a really big deal. I think I wouldn't leave home without at least one copy in this style of deck. Following on from the Earthen Might, we've got Flame Tongue Totem, which is another great follow-up to a 1-drop. 2 Menacing Nimbuses, which is one of the new cards from Boomsday. Once again, just gives us a little bit more grind. Hopefully we can pick up something to help fill our curves so we can curve out, or maybe we can pick up a Calamos or a Fire Elemental, which just give us a bit more of a late game punch without having to include some potential bricks in our deck. And lastly, in the 2-drops, we've got Primal Fin Totem here. Really great with Flame Tongue Totem. Spits out a bunch of 1/1s. We haven't got any like Knife Jugglers or anything in here. So this is a pretty fair Primal Fin Totem, but if it goes unanswered, it really can just give you so many extra pieces that you can use to trade for your opponent's board. And it really, it won't take over the game, but it will give you a lot of value over time. Onto the 3-drop slot. This is where things get a little bit interesting. We already mentioned the Lightning Storm. We've got Feral Spirit here, a card that, once again, as we kind of said before, has fallen out of favor a bit. This was a card that was, an auto-include in so many different Shaman decks early on. But now, not so much, especially when you've got so many chain gangs and things like that in the meta. 2/3 body is good defensively, but not good offensively. Callie, what's going on? Just taking a look at this budget Shaman deck, then we're going to jump into some games. And we've got the Lightning Storm, we've got the Manatide Totem here. This one's a bit of an interesting one. I'm usually not a fan of Manatide Totem in these style of decks, very aggressive decks, usually because if your 3-mana play is you drawing 1 card, even if it's drawing 2, that's not really where we generally like to be. Turn 3 is a turn where we could be dropping really high threat minions. It's where Odd Rogue is dropping Hench Clan Thug. It's when they're dropping Vicious Fledgling. It's when Tar Creepers are hitting the field. And if we're spending our turn developing this kind of do nothing card, it's not great for our game plan. So I'd usually prefer to see, if you really want some extra card draw, cards like Loot Hoarder, at least that can get some damage done. Acolyte of Pain, you could at least potentially fake someone out into thinking that you are, a different Shaman deck, like a control Shaman deck. And Acolyte works well with, you know, your Earthen Mites and Flame Tongue Totems. And the other option is Storm Chaser. We do have Bloodlust in this deck, so we could add some Storm Chasers there, which is not exactly going to give us card draw, but it is going to give us a bit of consistency. So we will be keeping an eye on the Mana Tide Totem, just making sure that it's kind of pulling its weight in that 3-drop slot. And lastly, we've got Unbound Elemental here. Obviously, this is a great budget option. We've got a couple of Overload cards that we've already mentioned: Lightning Bolt, Feral Spirit, Lightning Storm. So not going full on into the Overload theme, but a couple of little benefits, and our opponent might overreact and try and answer it with, like over-answer it, you know, trade 2 for 1 or something for that. In the 4-drop slot, we've got Fireplume Phoenix, another great option. Helps getting rid of those like individually targeted threats, a little bit of extra face damage if you want as well. On a bit of an unfortunately weak body, but you know, we take those. And we've got hexes here, so kind of completing the suite of Lightning Bolt for small threats early on, small individual threats early on, Lightning Storm for lots of small threats, and Hex for those big threats, those mountain giants, those big boys. So we've kind of got answers for a lot of things, which I like in a deck. I think that's great as a budget deck to start learning with, and we'll get to kind of find out what that means for, you know, if we have a Hex against a matchup where Hex isn't valuable. We'll also get to see kind of the downside of including all these disparate things. We've got the 2 Bloodlusts in here, obviously one of our main win conditions, and Fungalmancer as well is one of our best tempo plays, and a card that we always are looking to set up and land. That's why we want to be curving out. So like we said, the things we're going to be keeping an eye out for is the Mana Tide Totem pulling its weight. I also want to pay attention to if this is enough 1-drops. You know, we do have cards like Glacial Shard that we could be playing, or even several other options, but particularly Glacial Shard to give us another thing that we can follow up with Earthen Mite, and another tool to kind of slow that early game down, allow us to trade a bit better. So we'll pay attention to that and the Mana Tide Totem, and then we'll also pay attention to any potential upgrades we could include in this deck, as it is a budget one. If you jump over to Hearthstone, Elemental Core has already outlined a whole bunch of different cards you can put in there, but maybe we can figure some more out. So let's jump into some games and see how we... Alright. You're against the Priest.
For Doomhammer.
So we got our Firefly, so we just want to kind of hit a curve. The main question is, do we keep this Feral Spirit? I mean, Firefly on 1, coin Feral Spirit on 2, Firefly on 3. Like, Elemental on 3 is... It's not bad, but I think we'll give ourselves an extra chance to hit that that Earthen Mite or the Flame Tongue Totem. I think that's where we want to be. Not sure, I kind of dig the totems. I'm bad with managing hand size, and totems kind of encourage me to fix that. I can see where you're coming from there. I can definitely see where you're coming from. I guess when you say managing hand size, do you mean it in like I'm glad we didn't play our Firefly. Do you mean like you're bad at like if you're playing an aggressive deck, you always seem to find that you're running out of resources? Or do you mean like you're playing a slower deck and you always have like 10 cards in your hand? So this looks like Mecha'thun of some variety, which I think is definitely a deck that we can, we might be able to beat. Just got to watch out for the Psychic Screams, maybe Holy Nova or something like that. Spirit Lash. Spirit Lash, definitely a card we could run straight into. So I think what I'm going to do is trade this Primal Fin and then coin out this Fungalmancer. buff the, oh, we should have, I guess it doesn't matter. Main thing is I just want to make sure we have a buff on the Primal Fin. And the Flame Tongue is also quite a valuable resource. Get it out of the range of Holy Nova. If we can rip a Bloodlust off the top, it's pretty good. Yes, run out of resources. Ah, I see. Yeah, I think the perfect deck for someone like yourself, who, if you find yourself running out of resources, like you said, a perfect deck is Odd Paladin. I'll get into that in a second. Don't particularly want to overload myself. Do want to draw some more cards though. Prophecy, what's going on?
The calm before the storm.
Leyline. So let's see what our opponent has to say about this. Yeah, I think Odd Paladin is a really great deck. Well, there it is. For people who like to play aggressive decks but find themselves running out of resources very quickly, because the Odd Paladin hero power, you know, provided you actually use it, really, hooray!
I have too many minions.
Really makes it quite hard to run out of resources, because oftentimes using your hero power is so much better than playing, say, a different 3-drop or a different 2-drop or 2 1-drops. Yeah. Okay, here against another Shaman. So Shaman Mirror. As much as I'd love to keep the Earthen Might without the 1-drop to go with it, don't like it. In fact, like Flame Tongue, same story. Mana Tide, same story. I'd definitely consider keeping a Mana Tide if we had a 1-2 curve. You just like smash them to hell. Yeah, I mean we curved out. That's all we really wanted to. Oh my gosh. Oh.
Yo, Stefan!
How do we feel about this opener? I don't think he's feeling it. Have I tried Gul'dan Sea Giant Zoo? We've played Zoo with Sea Giant before. When you say Gul'dan, do you mean Blood Reaver Gul'dan? Like a Zoo deck playing Sea Giants and Blood Reaver? That sounds pretty wild, especially these days, considering most of the Zoo decks are Heal Zoo and, you know, don't really get a huge benefit off of Blood Reaver. That's interesting. Chuck me a link if you've got a link to the deck. Okay. I don't know, friends. I think we just gotta. I think this hand is just so anemic. No heal. Hooked Reaver. I like it. Crystallizer? Is it playing Crystallizer? I've been waiting for a Crystallizer, like Nether Soul Buster stuff to kind of come into vogue. I don't think it's good enough, especially when you have cards like Duskbat that also kind of compete on the same level. But I've been waiting for some like Crystallizer Zoo or like Aggro Priest with Crystallizer. Kel'Atheth 2, yep, I can get behind that. Yeah, chuck us a link, Prophecy. That sounds sweet. Sounds sweet. Hex my totem! I guess we'll just go for another totem and see if we can get a big old bloodlust off. This is the most, like... This is a very ghetto beatdown. We're scrapping here. Pretty bad for us, hey. Of course we draw the Nimbus now. Scrapping in the streets. Ooh. Grumbo. Still unsure what our opponent's on. I doubt it's Shutterwalk if they're playing Giggling Inventor, so it's probably some kind of control shaman. Good thing is, in this style of deck, so we've played a bunch of decks where, against control shaman, weird that they didn't put it on the taunt. Against control shaman, we have bad matchups because oftentimes they have just too many board clears and double healing rain is bad. But by having 2 bloodlusts in the deck, means we can potentially kill our opponent from a higher threshold where they might not have healing rained. Do we want to play Grumble this turn?
Take shelter.
Probably not, hey.
Done.
Like, if we did Grumble, I guess we get, you know, we can redo a Menacing Nimbus, but, like, we lose the buffs on the healing totem. It's a Volcano.
Engaging TC-130 mental dislocator.
Okay.
How long?
Oh, jeez. I think we might have lost our shot. Well, maybe not. Come on, spell damage. That's right. Get out of here! Better lucky than good. That's what we say. Ooh, thank you very much, Prophecy. Ooh. Alec is pretty good, huh? I got Gul'dan from the 30-20 bundle. That's really awesome. I got an Anduin, which I was pretty happy with, but Gul'dan's definitely a sweet one. Hopefully you get some
By the elements.
oh no. Yeah. Well, hopefully they don't have, like, a Lich King to follow up or something.
Job done.
Hopefully. Alright, let's take a look. We got some Dusk Bats. Okay. Chain Gang, Hooked Reaver. Only the 4/3 drops in that deck. Oh, it is Shuttlewell.
My claws that catch.
Isn't that... Oh, wow. That just murders a thing? How much is this? 9 plus 5 is 14. Ugh. The
end is coming!
Oh my gosh, David Househog rating with the 3 Doomsayers. Welcome everyone from Dave's chat. We're just trying to math this out. See if we can possibly win. I mean, if we Bloodlust and battle in, and they don't heal, then we can potentially just 5 Plume Phoenix them down, right? So I guess that's the game plan, right? Put them to 1, hope they don't have healing ray. Sorry, it was more than I flubbed the raid? What happened? No stress. It's always good to have you anyway. Raid slash instead of slash raid. Pff, whatever. We all goof, and that's okay. That looks like a healing rain to me. It's definitely a healing rain. Oh, never mind. They did have the Lich King that we were scared of. I don't know if I said it, but after they played they went Alakir into Calamus. I was like, well, hopefully they don't have the Lich King because that's the other card. Got him. Well, after all, just wanted to wish you all on your stream stay wavy. Thanks, Dave. You brought us the win. You definitely did. You made sure our opponent didn't draw that healing rain. So I appreciate you. Thanks to everyone coming from Dave's stream. Let's get these wins.
Doomhammer.
Okay. Up against the mage here. Got a good curve. 1-2. Primal Fin, especially in some matchups, in some mage matchups, could be pretty devastating. I crafted the Murloc totem for this. Very fun deck. Yeah. Primal Fiend Totem's been just great since release. Never busted. Just like a solid card, like bread and butter. Synergizes with a lot of cards. You know, Knife Jugglers, Flame Tongue Totems. Any of the Murloc synergies as well. I think this is just one of the most well-designed cards they've ever come up with. I'm a fan. We are up against Fallen Jedi. I did think it was Fallen Jaden for a second. Were we up against the one true god, Jaden Smith? So we'll lead with Firefly here in case we top deck Earthen Might. We'd rather have the Fly than the Diamol out. Did you cheer? I got 2,000 bits and got all the packs, plus 4 community gold packs. I haven't cheered yet, but I will definitely be cheering. I will definitely be cheering at some point. Because, yeah, I want those... not only is it a good, like... are those emotes like pretty good, but the packs. How many packs do you get total for 2,000 bits or 2,500 bits? It's like, is it 6 or 10? 4 days of grinding ads. Oh my gosh. You are dedicated, to say the least. So I think we'll go for a lightning bolt here, and then I'll get the to Primal Fin or Flame Tongue, Flame Elemental. I think I'll get the Primal Fin. It's immediately weaker this turn, but we might be able to like curtail it into some more long-term advantage, which is going to be really important against this this mage list. We really gotta, yeah. I feel you on that. Let's roll up a. Do we try and roll up a healing totem? That would be so devastating if we got it. Means we don't get to deploy this menacing Nimbus, but I think that's okay. We'll get this Flame Elemental out. Just so we have an Elemental on the field. Now they're so pressured into pinging this though. Like, what are they doing with 2 mana? Well, that's like what, $40 or so. That's 2,500 bits. So yeah, $35. So they did ping. Okay.
The calm before the storm.
All right, let's trade some boys. I don't care about card back, but just 2,500 reward. That's fair enough. I actually really like the card back. I think the purple, the Twitch purple, it's just a really nice color. Alright, we need a good turn now, in case our opponent's going to go for an Alaneth, and that's definitely what I would describe as a good one.
Mushroom power!
Mushroom power indeed. We'll get the Diamol out so they don't have a good target to ping, in case they have like a Cinderstorm as well. Just gives us less targets that could possibly die. The community rewards may be higher than 2,000. I think it skips immediately from 2,000 to 2,500 for the card back. Polymorph? No, we put all our eggs in one basket. That's weird. Polymorph. This is a tempo mage running Polymorph. Interesting. I guess we should be concerned about Flame Strike then if our opponent's playing some kind of off-meta stuff. So I think we'll just go for the totem here. No, the 600, 1300. Oh, okay. Right, I see what you're saying.
The future is ours.
Ooh. Lunar Cinderstorm.
Behold the tools
don't think you're gonna.
of creation.
Don't think we're ripping a 1 mana ice block here. Shooting Star's pretty good though.
Behold
3, 4, 5,
the
6, 7,
tools of
8, 9.
creation.
Oh, and the Earthen Might. With no elementals in play. We'll get him with a Flame. Spicy games. I think that we definitely got a little bit lucky there with the top decked Flame Tongue totem, allowing us to kill the Mana Worm. But you know, sometimes you got to get lucky. Sometimes you do get lucky. So we'll take a look at the deck from ElementalCore100. Ultimately, I think everything kind of came together. We didn't really get to see any of the things we really wanted to see, like with the Mana Tide totem, if it was worth it. We didn't really get to see. Or actually, I guess we did see in that second game the price you pay for including a lot of kind of disparate spells in your deck. But I think that's a bit of an outlier. So ultimately, a really strong deck here. I think if you're a budget player and you really like playing Shaman, and you want to climb the ladder, or at least have a deck that you can complete some quests with, this is a fantastic option. In terms of budget, we've got Earthen Might, Primal Fin, Feral Spirit, Lightning Storm, Mana Tide. Pretty budget. That's about 10 rares. I think a lot of these are rares where if you've been playing for maybe 6 or 12 months, you probably have picked up a Mana Tide or a Lightning Storm here and there from all the classic packs, maybe even a Feral Spirit. And there's plenty of different cards that you can cut here. Plenty of replacements to make. There are great commons like from the newer set. You have cards like Explodinator, which is another great card for these style of decks. But you also have plenty of different upgrades that you could add. Cards like Storm Chaser, which allows you to hit your Bloodlusts a bit more consistently. The Stormbringer, another card that rewards you for having a really wide board. It lets you go a little bit higher. You've also got cards like Thrall could go in here. Plenty of different options. And plenty of experimentation to do with a lot of those 1-drops. So if you have been watching this video on YouTube, all the links are down in the description, including a link over to the Hearthstone deck article. Jump over there, leave a lovely thoughtful comment for ElementalCore100, as I know you will. Give them a +1 on that deck. All my details are down there as well, including a link over to Twitter at Tommy_Wave. That's the best place to catch me. And you've also got a link there to the Wavepool Discord, which you can jump into. It's just brand new, trying to build that up. But come join us. Lots of friendly chit-chat in there. Lots of lovely people. And until next time, please stay safe and stay wavy.